Hello, everybody. It is me, Joe Doves from Couch Entertainments. And before we get into episode 2 of the Ark, I wanted to do some housekeeping because I want to make sure that you know when content is coming out. So I decided that I am going to have a upload date. Now, everything that I'm watching movie-wise or TV-wise, I'm going to be dumping it on this day. And that day will be on Sunday, and it's going to be coming out at 9 p.m. Eastern time, just so that everybody knows that when content is spilling out, it will be coming out on Sundays. As far as spoiler cast, because we did get like 18 likes, by the way. I'm grateful for that, by the way. 18 likes on episode 1, the non-spoiler review. So this Sunday, you're going to get a combination of episode 1 and 2. And because they do like a recap on the second episode, and I'll hit base off of my, deep dive on the spoiler cast of episode 1 and 2. And like I said, that will be coming out this Sunday. So, look out for the spoiler review, the deep dives of episode 1 and 2 on Sunday. So let's get into episode 2. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's talk some couch entertainment, starting off with the plot. So, the main plot for episode 2 is they have two things going on. They have the investigation of the murder of Jasper Dades, who is not Jasper Dades because he was an impersonator on episode 1. He was the guy that was in the closet area arrested because he was cut through the throat. Someone slashed his throat. And there's a water shortage because something caused a pipe in the dome where they're growing all the food that Angus is working on. There was a bursting of the pipe, which a lot of water, I believe it was about 100 gallons. And now they have like a couple of days of water left. And that is a big thing about surviving. You need your food and you need your water as far as surviving on a ship with all those people. So you have those main plots going. Then you have some subplots happening as well. So besides the investigating of the murder, you have Lieutenant Bryce and Lane, who's investigating the damage of the ship. And what they're doing is they're doing a spacewalk on the ship. They want to see what caused the ship to break and pretty much kill all their officers and scientists. And there is something in the damage that is shown that I will be talking about on the spoiler review. There's also another plot line about Dr. Brandis, and that is the blonde girl who is kind of like a valley girl, kind of just like stuck up. She becomes like the therapist of the ship. Sharon, she pretty much makes her the therapist because Eva, who lost her boyfriend Harris, is, upset. And instead of Sharon, helping out, because the reason why Sharon was going to Eva is because of the water stuff, and they need her because she works on maintenance, and they had to work something as far as filtration systems and everything. I'm not into the maintenance stuff on that. They just needed her to fix the water pipes and all that. Plot line that's going on is that the crew is tired and obviously hungry and thirsty because they have to ration the water and the food, and now the water's all screwed up. So you have the crew who's on edge. They're tired and they're angry. And we also did get some backstory as far as what's going on with Sharon Garnett, that's her full name, and Brandis, because they do a flashback scene because Bryce and Lane, they're having a conversation. They're like, we never seen Sharon train with us. Who is that person? And in that scene, they show, the creator of the ship. They show the captain of the ship who obviously died during the incident on the Ark. And you see that they introduce Sharon Garnett. Lane was like, hey, who is she? And she says that someone higher up put her on the ship. And then you see Brandis, who's, I guess, is probably a internet or a TV star. And I guess she's a doctor, maybe something with mental health, because she does have the doctor, and she is, Sharon says Dr. Brandis. So I'm assuming she is a doctor in some mental health capacity. So those are the plot lines that are happening. My opinion, plots, I wasn't really interested. I guess the only thing I'm digging so far is Bryce and Lane thing, but all the other stuff of learning about Sharon, I wish we got a little bit more, maybe a little bit more flashbacks, but maybe they're gonna spread that out probably throughout the whole season. Let's move into some presentation. Presentation wise, all the sets are the same. The only new thing that we actually see now is the food dome that Angus is working on. It kind of looks cool, but all the other ones, you have the meeting room, you have the bridge, you have the maintenance room, you have the bunk beds and the quarters and all that stuff that we've seen in the first episode, and then the medical bay, obviously where the doctor is working at. There was a riot in the cafeteria, and the fighting looked really really lame. I don't know what to say about that. It kind of made me nervous because it just looks so goofy, and I'll just leave it at that. There was also a cheesy scene where Sharon is talking to Angus in the beginning of the episode, talking about the water, and she puts her hand on Angus's shoulder, and the camera, like the point of view, points it out, like it zooms in on the hand and then looks at Angus, and he's like, "Why is she touching me?" Or like, is this going to be a love interest between Angus and Sharon? I don't know. And then they also did a thing when the riot in the cafeteria happened. Angus catches Sharon and she's like, thanks, and all that stuff. So I don't know what's going on with that. But presentation wise, again, the CGI still looks like a PlayStation 3 game. Still looks cheesy. I don't think that's going to change anytime unless there's more viewers that happen and maybe they get more budget in some way and maybe they touch it up for the future episodes. But right now it still looks the same. So you got that going on. Now let's go into writing. The dialogue is so awkward between all the characters. And I tried to give it a chance. I was like, all right, the beginning with the dorky, nerdy Alicia, like her dialogue is so unbearable to the point where the doctor is like, shut up, because everybody's on edge and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, you're pushing it too much. I get it. She's nerdy. I get it. She's very literal. And I get it. That's her personality. But I'm just not digging it. And then you have other things like Sharon comes off a little too much, like when she's having the dialogue with the security because they're having the investigation. Like they have like a face off where the security guard is being like Sherlock Holmes, like, where were you on, this day at 1400 hours and all that stuff. And that is so awkward that I kind of rolled my eyes so much. So much. I think there's two characters that I like that are doing well on the show, and that is Eva, who's the Serbian chick. I know at last video I was kind of like blah, like her accent's bad, but she was good. She's kind of having like a attitude like we need to get things done, even though she just went through a death of her boyfriend. So she's acting well. And my favorite character, Bryce, who's like the the womanizer, the hot guy of the ship. He's like Scottish or whatever, and he's just funny on his dialogue. There's a part where Brandis, who gets one of the officers' quarters because she gets her own therapist room, and she says a line that was so funny. She's like, I could take you, one at a time, or I could take you both. And Bryce is like, I bet you could. And I like died so so much. I like, he's awesome. So Eva and Bryce are on my good side. I will say Lane might be another person that I kind of like, because Bryce and Lane are having good chemistry, because the whole thing is, hey, we train together. I don't know this Sharon chick. And the bickering between Bryce and Lane, I think, is really, really good. And that's, a positive in my opinion. But I still think the writing needs a little bit of work. Like I said, the dialogue between other characters are very awkward. If I had to compare, it's like kind of watching like a 90s kids sitcom show. Like the cafeteria is like, hey, you should be drinking this water because you screwed up the whole water thing making food. And then they just start brawling and stuff. Like he's playing that 90s bully kid. Whoever that guy who punched Angus in the face. Plot wise, I want to say was kind of meh. Presentation meh, based off of the the fighting that happened in the cafeteria. Same sets, so there's really nothing different or something that made me go, "Woo, that looks cool." The CGI is still looking very, very bad, and then the camera angles of Angus and Sharon and all that stuff. I'm just like, what is going on here? Are they trying to show us that they are going to be a thing in the future? Who knows? And writing wise, like I said, there's some good things and mostly bad things as far as the rest of the cast, but at least we have a couple of positives. So overall, like I said, I do have my own ranking system, and if you want a description of it, make sure you watch the other episodes. But I don't think I'm gonna give this a firm rating. I think I'm gonna give it a little bit lower than episode 1. So I am gonna give it the uncomfortable couch, which is kind of like, if I had to put a number behind it, it would be a 2 out of 5. And like I said, there's some positive things, but I just wasn't impressed in this episode. And this episode had a runtime of about like 40 minutes, 40 to 43 minutes. So take that as it is. But like I said, I will go over in a deep format. If you haven't watched my Last of Us episode 4 spoiler review, that's how the spoiler reviews are going to happen, where I kind of go frame by frame and show you what I think about each scene and what's going on each scene. So this is where we'll end the non-spoiler review. If you want to follow us, make sure you go to Twitter, BTA Content. We have a Facebook, which is Big Trouble Archives. We have a website, which is bigtroublearchives.com. And we also make sure you hit that like button, because I do like when you hit that like button. Obviously, if you don't like it, hit the down button as well, the thumbs down. Give us a comment, because you guys had some comments in the last episode of episode 1. And maybe if we get more comments on this YouTube page, that I'll have a segment that I will be putting in the video. Who knows? There's some things I want to work out. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you guys subscribe, whoever's new, and hit that notification bell. I will see you on the couch next video. Bye, guys.